Mikael, congratulations. What value do you place on coming here and getting the 3 points?
Big win against a really good side. We had big moments, especially attacking open spaces, the way they play. We were ruthless, we were really clinical, we had some great moments, and then as well there were moments we have to dig in and suffer because they put you in trouble. They are a really good side.
Could you have done without the stress of the latter stages of the game?
It's part. If you expect to come against this Brighton team here and play off the park and don't concede anything, it's extremely difficult, especially the way they play. So it was a big test for us to win again, 2 in a row after the period. Is a big win, and now into the next one.
What difference do you feel scoring so early had on the game as a whole?
I don't know. I think the game had moments. Obviously, we started really fast after the first one. I think we have 2 or 3 big chances again to put the game in a match comfortable there. But the game was never finished. You could have the feeling that they were going to take everything that they could forward and commit a lot of players forward and really test your last line, and they did. And we had to manage in certain moments some difficult situations.
But knowing what you were up against today, and we talked about the Brighton threat before the game, was it very much part of the game plan that you made a fast start?
It was, but as well to suffer and to dig in difficult moments. We knew that we're going to have periods where we have to sit a little bit deeper because that's the way they play. They have a lot of players next to the ball, really short relationships, really want to attract you there, and you have to prevent that happening as much as possible. But as well, I think we were a real threat every time we were around the final third.
2 goals in 2 games. Just how ideal a start has Nketiah made to the challenge that's in front of him now?
Great. I think his contribution again today, the way he worked, the way he understood what he had to do, the way he brought the team together, especially when they were pressing really, really high, was really good, and I'm really pleased with his goal again.
It's Newcastle, Tottenham and Manchester United all coming up next, just behind you in the table. How satisfying to go into that run of games with this sort of momentum?
We have to play every game. Now we have to focus again, review the match, a lot of things that we've done really well, and a lot of things still to improve, and take those ones into the next match, take the same energy, momentum. We're going to play in front of our crowd. It's going to be a really special day again, and looking forward to it.
Whether or not there was any mention of the Manchester City result just before you kicked off today.
You look at every result, obviously you know what happened, but again, we have to focus in what we can do, which it was to come here and against a really difficult side, perform and win.
But as a result, did you sense an extra step in your team as they went out?
I think we have enough desire. Obviously what other results are better towards the table, but we know that our success is going to be with what we have to do.
You know the lead you have at the top of the table at the moment, and you won't get carried away because there is a long, long way to go. But 43 points on the board already. What platform have you built for the second half of the season?
Well, this is what we want, and continue to improve as a team and play better and dominate other areas, like today when we had to suffer and we had difficulties, how we could manage the game.
Appreciate your time.
Thank you very much.
At the top of the table, Nketiah, how does that sound?
Sounds amazing. You know, of course, at the start of the season, if you asked us if we'd want this, we'd bite your hands off, so we're really happy.
Martin, how much was it in your minds going into this game that opportunity was there after the Manchester City result?
No, to be honest, as we said many times, we focus on ourselves. We don't care about the other teams. We came here, we wanted to get the 3 points, and that's all. We don't focus too much on the other teams, so we focus on ourselves. And 3 points was everything today, and we did it.
They gave you perhaps a more anxious second half, Brighton, than you might have imagined at one point.
Yeah, I think we need to control the game a little bit better. I think we let them into the game twice there, so but it's a difficult team to play against. Very good on the ball. Very good team, so it's difficult, but I think we can do better in some parts of the game, you know.
Nketiah, you scored very, very early on. What emphasis was there today on a fast start?
No, there was a big emphasis. You know, we know how hard it is to come here in recent seasons as well, and with the weather as well, it wasn't so easy. But you know, with that goal nice and early, it set us up.
It's a great finish as well, because you had to control a ball that had taken a couple of deflections.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it fell for me. So when it fell, I just had to show some composure and try and put it in the far corner, and I'm happy I did.
Martin, you're on target again as well. Perhaps not the greatest goal you've ever scored, but the timing was crucial.
I think it was a great goal. A great finish.
Fantastic finish.
Another important goal, and happy to help the team, you know, with goals and assists, and that's what I want to do, you know, help the team as much as possible. So very happy to do that again.
The fourth goal probably turned out to be perhaps more important than you thought at the time. Tell us about it, and more importantly, your part in it.
Yeah, I just saw it was a lot of space in behind, and you know, our wingers are so quick. So just to get the ball in the right space and yeah, put a good speed on the ball, and then it's not easy to stop Martinelli there. So it was a great goal.
Bukayo, there is a long, long way to go in the season, we know. But what opportunity are you sensing here and now for Arsenal?
As you said, you know, it's a great opportunity we have, and it's a great place we've put ourselves in. But you know, we're not focused on that right now. You know, we just want to continue to focus on the next game because we know how good Newcastle have been playing. So that's our only focus right now.
Guys, another big win today. Martin, you're also the player of the match. Bukayo, if you wouldn't mind doing the honours for us.
Thank you.
Well done, guys.
Cool.
Thanks, Greg.
Well, the players have to keep their powder dry a little bit. They have to tell us that they're just taking one game as it comes. Alan Smith joins us from the gantry at the Amex. And Alan, you saw the travelling supporters in full voice, particularly at the end of that game. Does this feel now on New Year's Day, going into New Year's Day, with a 7-point advantage that Arsenal fans can believe?
I think they do, Kelly. There's no question about that. It doesn't take much for fans to get excited, optimistic. And when you're 7 points clear, of course, you're going to think maybe this is our year. I don't think any of us thought this was going to be possible at the start. And it's such an unusual situation, isn't it? 7 points clear, but everybody still thinks, really, Manchester City are going to win it. But that might play to Arsenal's advantage. That run of fixtures going up to the Manchester City game on February the 15th, if they can still maintain a gap, and then I said in commentary, if they can beat City, then I think then you really do start to believe.
It is that run of fixtures up to the City game, but particularly the next three, where it's Newcastle, Tottenham and Manchester United, and they're going to be the ones that could be a real test of Arsenal's mettle.
Definitely, yeah. And the wheels came off, didn't they, at the end of last season, the Spurs game and the Newcastle game away, where they just didn't turn up. They ran out of gas. Their squad was stretched to the limit. They're in a better position this season in terms of strength in depth, slightly better. And I think they're more mature. Still the youngest side in the Premier League, that average starting 11, but there's that experience. They've learned. You would hope they've learned from last season. They're a year older and hopefully a year wiser.
Hopefully a year older and a year wiser is what Arsenal fans will be hoping that they can see between now and the end of the season. But when you look at the experience that they've brought into the side, including the two title winners, one of whom, Gabriel Jesus, isn't available for the foreseeable future, the other one, Alex Zinchenko, how much have they added to the dynamic in the squad, as much as anything that they add on the pitch?
A lot of it probably, Kelly, is things that go on behind the scenes, on the training ground from Monday to Friday, in the dressing room before matches and after matches, you know, that experience of winning things, how to handle certain situations. I mean, they're both young lads, aren't they, Jesus and Zinchenko, but they've seen it all under Pep at City, and it's been remarked upon a lot, and I'm sure that was a big reason why Arteta brought those two players in, apart from their abilities. And it's setting the standard, isn't it? When you're in these positions, setting the standard of how to approach things going forward. So they will play a big part, yeah.
Alan Smith, thank you very much for joining us. Hope you enjoyed that one.
Thank you. Cheers, Kelly. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. And it will be a Happy New Year for Arsenal. 7 points clear. No side's been 7 or more points clear on New Year's Day and not been the Premier League champions. Yes, there's been a break for the World Cup, but it's only set them back, 4 games or so. It's not hugely behind schedule. Do they look like a team that can win the title, given how big a test you said that Brighton game would be?
Oh, 100%. You know, they're playing very, very well. It's not been a fluke. They've been very, you know, and they went to Old Trafford and they got beat, and I didn't think they deserved to get beat that day. And there's ways of losing football matches, and they bounce back. So the other night, they come back from the World Cup. They go 1-0 down against West Ham. You think, oh, here we go. And they come back again and just brush West Ham aside. And then they go to Brighton. They are right in it. They are right in it. And no question, this is not a fluke. They are where they are because they're a very, very good football team. They've got to do it for another... Well, they've got to do it. I mean, there's 26 games left. They've got to do it for another 22, probably. You know, they're giving themselves a little gap where they can afford to lose a few games. Man City are not going to win every game. You know, so for me, they're right in this. You know, I couldn't talk highly enough about Arsenal, but... You know, this is the Premier League. It changes so quickly. Them 3 fixtures come round: Newcastle, Tottenham, Brighton. You know, they beat Newcastle. You expect them to get a result at Tottenham. You know, if they get a result at Tottenham, I expect them to beat United. But if they don't beat Newcastle and then you don't expect them to beat Tottenham, they don't beat Tottenham, they won't beat Man United, and before you know it, it's a domino effect. At the moment, they're doing everything right.
Glenn, they come into this game knowing that Manchester City have dropped points, knowing that Newcastle have dropped points, knowing that if they win, they can go 7 points clear at the top of the table going into the new year. They know that a title might be within their grasp at the end of the season. Given all of that and all of that expectation on the players, what did you make of Saka's finish and the composure that he showed in that moment?
Oh, it was outstanding, but we should be used to it by now. He stands up all the time, whether it be in an Arsenal shirt or an England shirt, and he produces big moments. And like we've said, the way they went about their business at the start of this game, Brighton couldn't live with them. Their speed, their directness. And then when this falls to Saka, I mean, it's a gift. It's his first touch. The first touch is he just kills the ball dead, and then from that point, it's just about putting in the back of that. But Partey, we see him here, I mean, breaking play, and we've seen it on a number of occasions this afternoon and this season. He is the real steal in that Arsenal midfield, and then he lets the likes of Saka, Martinelli, Ødegaard getting the ball and cause confusion like they do.
What kind of effect can that have on the rest of the team to get that early goal, just to relax everyone, Paul?
You know, in the Premier League, the first goal is so important wherever you're playing. And to get that quickly, as Glenn said, I just can't emphasise how much quality there was in that. The way Partey breaks it up, and Saka, you know, so early in the game, as I said at half-time, 1 minute in, you know, usually that touch bounces off. We go, oh, I wish I had that when I was warm. That just shows how focused they are and how much they're on their game at the moment. And they're all 8 out and 9 out of 10s at the moment.
Martin Ødegaard was the player of the match in this one, and he got his goal as well.
Yeah, he got his goal. I mean, you know, for me, defending, if I was Brighton, I'd be looking and going, how can you not have anybody on the edge of the box? I mean, really, I don't know a team in the country who don't have anybody on the edge of the box for a ball to roll out and someone to run onto it. I mean, I just don't get that. He got a little bit fortunate, but I just think that's bad defending by Brighton. I really do think that's bad defending. I know what you think, Glenn. I just think you've got to have someone on the edge of the box. You can't have someone of Ødegaard's quality running in and just drilling that in the corner.
I totally agree. Now, for me, first half, Brighton were just too passive. They didn't turn up. They weren't at the races, and Arsenal made amends. They streaked ahead, but I did have written down on my pad that Arsenal, it was good game management, but then I had to scribble it out because the game went crazy. And Brighton actually turned up and played some football, and if there is a way to lose a game of football, that is it. And De Zerbi will walk away happy-ish because first half, it was just so passive, wasn't it? There was nothing.
And even into the early stages of the second half as well, when Nketiah got his goal. And look, he's playing a lot more, obviously, with the absence of Jesus, and is a very different player. That's 2 and 2 for him now.
Yeah, and we see, again, Brighton on the ascendancy. Who breaks it up? That man Partey again, doing what he does best. And then from this point on, I mean, it's just so direct, so clinical, so fast. And it ends up in Martinelli, who's came inside on a number of occasions on Lamptey to use his right foot. Lamptey's got the better of him this time. He goes outside, gets his shot across, and we talk about the absence of Jesus. I mean, for me, Nketiah can score goals. He's more of a goal scorer, I think. Jesus brings a lot of different attributes, but this for me it's a proper goal scorer. It's sniffing out that opportunity when the keeper saves it, being first on the scene, and we see it here. Perfect timing by the young man just to stab home a goal. Nothing special, just right place, right time, but he's done his job for the afternoon. 10
goals in his last 16 starts. Obviously, he's not a replacement for Jesus, Paul, but as Glenn was saying, if you want goals, he'll deliver.
There's 2 games gone, 2 goals. You know, you've got to just keep on ticking the games away. And as Glenn said, he will come. He will grow into that position, and he'll get more and more confident, and he'll feel that he's more belonged. Jesus doesn't score that goal. He doesn't. It's as simple as that. You know, he's not that kind of player. He's an out-and-out goal scorer. You know, they're the goals you want. You know, cutting inside, putting it in the top corner from 25 yards is nice. But you ain't doing that every week. He can do that every week. You know, he scored 2 goals now, both in the penalty box, and that's what put him in the penalty box, put the ball in there, and he will score you goals.
That's one of the goal scorers in Martinelli, who gives them back that 3-goal cushion.
I mean, a Partey who for me was absolutely outstanding. Everything you want from a holding midfield player here. composure, take stones, don't boot the ball away. You know, and this, when you talk about people seeing pictures, Martin Ødegaard knows what he's doing before this ball comes. He knows what he's doing. And the thing is, Martinelli knows what he's doing and he's away. Lant is quick. He is quick and he is running with pace, full pelt with the ball. That's Ronnie O'Sullivan in football.
Yeah.
You know, he's looking at 4 pots. You know, he's ahead of the game and that is exactly what Ødegaard is. That's why you hear people go, they see a picture. A lot of people don't see that. You know, there's only probably him on the football pitch that sees that, and Martinelli who goes, and the finish is phenomenal. Phenomenal.
You see that foot race? That's the exact reason I turned around at the start of the show.
If you missed that, we did show Glenn playing again. We showed you scoring against Arsenal, but we did show you with that spin and that turn back towards your own goal. The thing is with Martinelli, there was a sort of expectation that he might just play that pass.
Yes, I think we could see the whole picture in the studio, and if I'm Eddie Nketiah, I am going over and I'm celebrating with my teammate, I'm cuddling him and whispering in his ear, it's a good job you scored that because I was wide open in the middle of the box.
But there's 2 points there. One is, obviously in hindsight, it proves to be the right decision because he scored the goal. And if he backs himself, that's a good thing. If he didn't see the pass, is that different?
Yeah, that would be the worry. You know, if he goes, I see you, but I wanted to shoot. It's when you don't see it, and then I'd be worried. But, you know, for me, that the pass is Kevin De Bruyne. It's Kevin De Bruyne-like. I mean, there ain't too many players in the Premier League who see that pass. Kevin De Bruyne sees it. Ødegaard sees it. I don't see too many other players in the Premier League. You know, I know he got man of the match, but I still thought Partey was, even for the goal of Nketiah's goal, you're talking about complete and utter reading of the game. He breaks it up, then he carries on his run. You know, a lot of older midfield players would have just sat back, and he's like, I've seen it open up, and I just think he's been the one for me. I know Ødegaard and the front three and whoever, but I just think he's been the one part. He's been the older midfield player, I think.
When we talk about the front three, they're always going to get the plaudits because they're the ones we enjoy watching.
Because of them, they're allowed to do that because of Partey. You know, he come from Atletico
100%.
Madrid, so you have to be the ultimate disciplined player.
Yeah.
And he couldn't get him fit last season. He was in, out. He's a must. You know, that's why he come off today. You know, he has to be fit to play against Newcastle and Tottenham because if he doesn't play, you know, that will weaken Arsenal's team.
Roberto, commiserations. A disappointing way in the end to end the year. What are your thoughts on the game today?
I think the game has been strange, no? Strange result, strange the way the Arsenal scored, no? But I'm really happy for my players, for our performance against one great team. Arsenal have a fantastic players, a fantastic coach. It was a brisk game, and I'm sorry for the first goal because I think it changed the game, no? Closed the game.
It was the timing of it was so crucial, you feel, made such a big difference.
Yes, I think it was a crucial moment, no? But we are very young. We have very younger players, and I think we have to improve to understand the different moment inside the game, no? Because that moment we hadn't to suffer a goal, because one goal, more attention, more focus on the defensive phase. I think we could find the possibility to score more and to open the game again.
To concede a goal so early in the game against a team of this quality, how much harder did it make the whole challenge today?
Quando concedi un gol così presto contro una squadra così forte, quanto fa diventare complicato?
It's difficult, but it's difficult in the start of the game, no? The first goal of Arsenal, no? Of Saka was strange, no? The second, the same. But Arsenal is a great team, and I think can be his year, no? Is a year good for them.
How pleased are you with the game that you gave Arsenal? How difficult you made it for Arsenal, at least in the second half, scoring 2 goals, almost scoring another?
Quanto sei felice di aver reso complicata la vita all'Arsenal, specialmente nel secondo tempo, segnando 2 gol?
No, I think I'm happy for the quality of play, for the attitude of my players, for the brave, for the courage. But the result, for the result, I'm sad normally, no. But we have to improve. When you have younger players, you have to improve, to work, and the result, okay, the result are very important. But against this team, you can lose.
You mention younger players. One big positive today, a goal for your substitute, E.Ferguson.
Yes, he's a good player. He has a very big potential, like Sarmiento, like Nketiah, like Lamptey, like Bill Gilmore, Colwill. But they have to possibility to play, no, and to grow up.